Alright, thank you for joining me today. I'm going to be going over Dash, My Love, another story by RainbowDashian, the same person that also did the I Am the Cutie Mark Crusader fanfic, which you can also find on my channel. Anyway, let's get started. And yes, this is my first reading, so I don't know what to expect. Don't expect to be any good. Ever since my 13th Christmas, I'd loved My Little Pony. The show was entertaining, and almost no one else liked it. It gave me a sense of security, because I hadn't had friends to begin with. While the main six were all amazing, I connected with Rainbow Dash the most. Now, I don't know why a shy closet brony would connect with such an outgoing and awesome pony like Dash, though. Eventually, I made it through my 8th grade year and into my 9th. High school. We'd moved from Los Angeles to some random, nondescript town in Montana, and I didn't know anyone there. The only upside was the 60 acres of old farmland we bought. After a horrible forest fire had ravaged the area a century or so before, the place had been for sale. What was once farmland became beautiful meadows with tall grass and lots of privacy. My parents were killed in a car wreck a few weeks after this. My brother managed to get himself signed as my legal guardian, so we didn't have to go and stay in a home. He had to keep 2 jobs going at once to pay for the house and gas and the like. He worked from home, though, so the only gas was spent for school and rare luxuries like going to a movie or a baseball game. All of my mornings were the same. Wake up, get ready for school, ride in the car for an hour to the closest bus stop, wait for an hour or so, get on the bus, ride for another hour to school. During the school day, my day was always different. Somehow, they'd discovered I was a brony. No one else in a school of 7,000 was. Every day, it was a toss-up between staying out of sight or getting beaten up. I never knew what was going to happen. One winter day, when things were at their worst, she transferred into my class. It was 9th period algebra, almost the end of the day. I'd gotten to school and immediately been attacked. My backpack was actually set on fire and I had to abandon it on the side of the road. After that, I'd had to face several different lectures by teachers about taking care of my things and not playing with fire. And just like always, when I tried to say what happened, they'd say, accept responsibility and not to blame others. At lunch, my tray of steaming hot tomato soup had been purposefully flipped onto me and my white t-shirt. Then, when I walked to the bathroom to wash off, I was jumped and my money stolen. Then I had to eat everything I could, being whatever was edible that I could scrounge from the dumpsters. From then till 9th period, it was fine. About halfway through the class, the guidance counselor walked in with the most beautiful girl I had ever seen. She talked quietly with the teacher for a short while, and the girl just stood there, awkwardly staring at us. I suppose we were doing the same thing, though. She was about 5.5 feet tall, just a few inches shorter than me. She wore a light blue t-shirt and khaki shorts with matching gloves. Her eyes were deep purple, and her hair was, surprisingly, the colors of a rainbow. Well, when the teacher had finished her conversation with the counselor, she faced the class and said, "This is an exchange student from..." The guidance counselor whispered in her ear, "Florida. Why don't you introduce yourself?" The girl spoke with the most angelic voice I'd ever heard in my life. She nervously said, "Hi, my name's Dash. My my family moved because of work and, well, I don't really know anyone, so I hope you guys will be nice to me. No one responded. Judging by the looks on their faces, they hated her already. She was doing worse than I had, and, well, she had just gotten here. The teacher pointed to the empty seat next to me and said, "You can sit there." Dash walked over, slid her satchel off her shoulder, and sat down. Being the nervous wreck I was, I didn't say anything. Neither did she. After class, it was time to go home. I followed her at a distance, because the jerks who normally beat me up were following her too. After a few minutes, we made it to the bus lot. Dash turned towards the last bus. The leader of the group grabbed her arm and forcibly dragged her away. I followed, still at a distance. He pulled her behind the building. I was eavesdropping around the corner. "Hey," he said. "How are you doing?" "Let me leave," Dash replied. "Ooh, feisty. I like that." The rest of the group laughed. "Now, if you do as I say, I might not hurt you." There was a rustle and a resounding smack. "You're gonna wish you hadn't done that, bitch." There was a thud. I whipped around the corner. Dash was crumpled on the ground, her shirt half off, with the gang surrounding her. I ran towards them and promptly slugged one of them in the back of the head. As he fell to the ground, the other 6 turned to me. Their leader, who had a red handprint on the side of his face, said, "Kill him." A simple request, but it's like he's responded immediately. 2 attacked me at once. I ducked under the first one's flying fist and jabbed him in his armpit. His arm went limp, and after headbutting the other one, I punched him in the stomach. 2 down, 4 left. One launched himself at me, and I simply stuck out my fist. He ran headlong into it, knocking himself out. 3 down, 3 to go. 2 ran towards me. Oh wow, I can't believe it. I Spartan kicked one of them in the chest, launching them into a backflip and unconsciousness. But the other one managed to connect his fist to my stomach. I doubled him over, almost vomiting, and he kneed me in the head. It launched me onto my back, and he said, "Any last words?" I leaned up and croaked out, "That's cliché." Then I brought my knee up right to where it hurts. He groaned and then toppled over. I stood up, wiping the blood off of my face, and was greeted by the leader's fist, narrowly missing my head. I kicked his feet out from under him, then stood over him. I started punching him over and over in the face. Then there was a hand on my shoulder, and I was pulled back. It was Dash. I looked at her and, well, she said, "Thanks for saving me. I think they were going to rape me. But that's no reason to kill one of them." "I'm sorry," I simply replied. "It's fine, but now there's a bigger problem. I can't get home. My dad doesn't get off work until 5, and, well, my mom was injured in a car accident a few days ago, so she can't pick me up either." "Don't worry, I can call my brother. He'll come pick us up, take you to our house. You can call your dad and he can pick you up when he gets off work." "Thanks." "Hey, isn't that your glove on the ground?" She gasped as she ran for it. I caught a glimpse of a tattoo on the back of her hand. "What's that on your hand?" I asked. She quickly pulled on her glove. "Nothing. It's nothing." My brother got there late. "Who's this?" he asked. I explained what had happened. "Well, that seems likely," he said sarcastically. "Get in the bag." After the 2-hour ride home was over, it was about 6. Dash had texted her dad all the way there, but he hadn't responded to any of her messages. When she called his personal phone, no one picked up. Same with their home phone. She finally got hold of him on its work phone, though. "Sorry, Dad." I could only hear Dash's end of the conversation. "These guys were... They were trying to rape me, and..." There's a loud yell from the other end of the phone. "Dad, nothing happened. This guy saved me. He beat them all up. I'm at his house. His brother took us home. Okay?" "Mm-hmm. Got it. Thanks, Dad." "So?" I asked. "He said I could stay here for the night," she answered. "What?" "Well, my dad had to stay at the office tonight. One of his clients needs something done by tomorrow morning at 7, so he said I should stay here." I was shocked. Why would any father let his daughter spend the night at some unknown boy's house? Not that I wasn't glad. I mean, Dash was beautiful, but I wasn't going to try anything. Not after the undeserved trust of her dad. Next morning I woke up on the couch. I guess my brother didn't like sharing a bed. I had to let Dash stay in my room. My brother was already making 3 omelets. "Hey," he said, "why don't you go wake up Sleeping Beauty?" Walked upstairs, knocked on Dash's door. There was no response. I called her name. Still nothing. I tried the door. Locked. Grabbed the key on top of the door frame, unlocked the door, and walked in. She was still fast asleep, almost entirely covered in her blankets. I shook her shoulder. She sat up, and the covers fell off of her. It was then that I discovered that Dash, like Fluttershy I might add, slept naked. She looked down at me, then looked back down. The next thing I knew, I was waking up, yet again, on the couch. My eyes opened to Dash's worried face looking down at me. I realized my head was in her lap. I sat up quickly, and a sharp pain in my head forced me to lay back down. "Stay still," she said. "I'm sorry I hit you. I didn't mean to knock you out." "You have nothing to be sorry about. It's my fault. I shouldn't have gone in your room." "Well, you're progressing fast, bro," my brother said. "Only the second day you've known her if you've already seen her naked. You're better at this than I was." "Shut up, dude," I simply responded. "Well," he said, "I guess you won't be getting one of my world-famous omelets then." No. I'm still getting one. We all had omelets, and because Dash had inadvertently knocked me out, my brother realized that even if we did go to school, we'd be too late for anything besides last period. Dash called her dad, and he said it was going to be all-nighter anyway, so she could stay at my house again. Alright, I am going to end this one right here, and continue off next time. Bye-bye.